I'm Samantha, and today I'm going to teach you some easy exercises that will help you to heal from super tight shoulders and a slumped shoulder forward posture. This is really important because almost everybody gets really tight shoulders. When's the last time you said, oh, my shoulders are feeling really great today? Probably not often. And if you're like many people, you might have a posture that feels or looks like you don't have as much confidence as you do. So maybe the shoulders are forward and the head is forward. Or maybe you've got your shoulders fallen forward so much that it is slumped into an upside down V shape. And the exercises that we're going to do today will give you more broadened shoulders, shoulders that actually perch on top of the rib cage. So if you imagine your rib cage is like a barrel or a cup, if you make a wide shoulders, your arms no longer are hanging by the strength of your martyr muscles. So I'll talk about the trapezius muscles as martyr muscles because these guys are usually doing all the work. When we have our shoulders forward, it's the job of the traps to hold the arm up all day, and that gets really exhausting, and that's why we get really tight. However, if we lift and utilize the lats, which are the side body muscles, we can take less of the work out of the traps, and our shoulders actually get to rest. They just perch on top of the rib cage, and they make more of a smile, like I've got right now, with the tips of the shoulders going up a little bit more than a frown when the shoulders are turned down. So the way to do this is, like I said, we'll use more lat and less trap. It's not as easy as it sounds. So I've been practicing this for a while, for about 3 years now, so I've got it to where it comes naturally now and I can go about my day and keep broad shoulders. But when I teach it to people, the first thing that they do when I tell them to lift and broaden their shoulders is this. They pull their shoulders up and they use nothing but traps. So the trapeziuses are totally being used here. They might scrunch their neck or they might pull the shoulders back. So the shoulders didn't get any broader when I did that, and I really scrunched my shoulders and overworked a muscle that's already overworking. So how do you do it? It's quite interesting. So I'll show you a way that we do it. It involves making a hollow space in your armpit. So carving out a deep hollow space. And one way you can do it right now, just to get the idea, is to put your hand on a surface and make your arm straight. Now we don't want to lock it. I'll turn the elbow outward. It's not locked. There's a springiness involved to it. And I'll pretend like my arm is one unit. It's like a stick. And as I push it into the table, I can stretch up my armpit. And I've got a hole there that I can stick my whole hand up under there. I think somebody said one time, you can stick a mouse in your armpit. There's a deep hole there. And when I do that, I didn't lift up or tense the trap. Actually, when I palpate it, it's soft right now. So that's much different than lifting up and scrunching the trap muscle. When I do this, it's softer. And you may be trying it right now and thinking, I still can't make it soft up there. That's okay. Keep trying, keep practicing, and keep envisioning it, and you'll get it soon. So another way to envision it is think about mama's picking up her toddler. And so picking up from under the armpits, the armpits lift and the traps don't have to work. You can have a friend lift up your arm and pull it away. And then when you do that, you can palpate your traps and see how it doesn't have to. And eventually you'll learn how to recruit these muscles on the sides of the body to do. So we'll do some strengthening and some stretching muscles that will, exercises that will help with that today. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use some props. So I rolled up 2 washcloths and I'm going to stick them under my armpit. So I'm going to force a hollow under my armpit. I'll get them under there really deep. And you can use tennis balls or washcloths or anything like that. Play around with it, whatever works for you. So I put them under my armpits, and now I'll do what feels unnatural is I'll narrow the elbows in. And when I narrow the elbows in, the shoulders went broad. It's physics here. I'll take my forearms to about 90 degrees and I'll push the elbows forward of the body. We call this service arms. And you'll see that my hands are making soft fists. I'm squeezing the base of the palm. My fingers are soft, and that squeezing of the palm is going to tone up my arm on the front and the back. That's important. Okay? So I am pretending I've got a tray. So you can actually use a tray to hold it to give you a resistance. So there's a lot of things going on right now. We're giving strength to the new posture that we're stretching at the same time. So we're forcing ourselves into this stretch of a broad shoulder position by narrowing the elbows in, and we're giving strength to it. So we're toning where we're stretching, which is very important to allow it to stay that way when we move these away. So you can use an actual tray, or you can pretend like you're holding a heavy tray. And doing this for a while, it gets a little exhausting. We'll add a little bit to it, isolating the rib cage side to side. We're being able to teach the body to move the ribs, which is where we're hoping to develop a little bit. And these unconventional movements will affect change in your body. Noticeable change fast. All right, you can try this while walking or doing other things as well. So that is called service arms with a couple of props. The next thing we're going to use is our table or your desk. So this is great. You can do all these exercises at work. So spending all day with your hands forward typing doesn't do anything to help the shoulder forward position, the head forward position. In fact, you're making it worse that way. So this is what I teach all of my private clients, is when you are sitting at a desk, sitting at a table, to use the table as resistance to help push your shoulders up, just as I showed you before. So we'll add a little bit here. We'll focus on the hands. And I'm going to make my hands wider than my shoulders. And I'll squeeze the base of my palm. So the thumb muscle and the pinky muscle, I'll squeeze those down, and I'll have a hollow under my palm. My fingers are soft. They're not stretched out. They're soft, and my hands are springy and strong. And that strength in my palm is going to inform all the muscles of my arm all the way up. Okay? So 2 strong palms. Arms are straight, not bent. They're going to be straight. All right? And then lift your armpits. And you can wiggle around. Now, we don't want to close up the front body here. We want to open the collarbones while we're doing it. So we're getting broad and full in the back and the front, lifting the armpits. And you can palpate your traps. Mine are pretty soft right here. And I'll show you from a different angle what it looks like to lift your armpits. And you can slide side to side, moving the ribs as well. And it's a totally different experience than what you might be used to. All right, so we'll add a little bit into the mix. So we've got a strong palm going on, and I'm going to lift my right hand into a dome hand. So I've got a hollow in the palm of my hand, like a deep hollow. All my fingers are curled. Just my fingernails are touching the table. And that hollow in my hand is going to echo the hollow in my armpit. All right, the arm is still straight and toned. The elbows are wide of both arms, and I'm going to lean my head back a little bit and also lean it to the left. Yeah, and lift my right armpit up. Yeah, exposing more of my right ribs to everybody who wants to see, and you'll see it when I do it on the other side. Come back to center, bring the right hand back to that strong palm. Yeah, and then we'll do it to the other side too. So head back just a little bit, and then tilt it to the right, and then I'm going to lift my armpit and lift my dome of my hand at the same time. And I'm exposing, opening up, maybe for the first time you felt the left ribs. Yeah, and then you can touch the traps. We don't want them to be overworking now, and we're actually toning the lats as we do this, opening and toning, stretching. All right, and you can do that a couple times on each side and wiggles to side when you're at work and whenever you think about it. The next one we're going to do is going to be a little bit more opening in the lats. So I'll take one hand to the side of my head, and I'm going to, your natural instinct will to have the elbow forward, but we're going to keep, or the elbow to the side, but we're going to keep it forward towards your nose, and it might start to creep away, but be mindful of that. It's good to watch yourself in a mirror when doing these exercises because the alignment is so precise. All right, and another tendency is to pull the arm up so much that your armpit is flat. This is good to look in the mirror and see, do you have a flat armpit here? If you do, we want a hollow. We want there to be a shadow there. Again, a lot of people will do this. They're like, it's not a flat armpit anymore, Sam. But you're scrunching your trap muscle, which is already overworked, so we don't need to do that as well. So one thing that's going to help, we're going to take the other hand to the elbow, and we're going to pull out the elbow in towards the midline, and at the same time we're pushing that right shoulder outward. So it's physics here. This goes in, that goes out. So I'm stretching the shoulder broad. Good. And then pushing both elbows forward, pushing the head back at the same time. Yeah. And then I'm going to arc to the left. Yeah. And you got it again. We're opening up that side body. At the same time, we're pushing the elbow narrow and pushing the shoulders broad. Head back. Elbows forward. Yeah. And you can arc over more. And then we'll come back and do it on the other side. That's a different feeling for many of you, I'm sure. Take the left arm to the side of the head, elbow forward, and take the right hand to a cupped hand on the elbow. And then as soon as you touch, you can pull them away from each other. There's always a resistance going on. All right, check your traps. We don't want them pulling all the way up. We want broad shoulders, yeah, and then push your elbows away from each other. Bow your head back, and then we'll arc other side. We're opening up the side body, and we're broadening the shoulders at the same time. We're not just stretching, we're toning while we're stretching, which is so helpful to maintain this openness when you're done with your yoga practice. And then exhale, come back up. I hope you've enjoyed these exercises today. If you like them, or if you had a struggle with tight shoulders or slumped shoulders, feel free to comment about it or like this video. And if you or someone you know needs help with their posture or has questions about yoga, feel free to send me a direct message. Thank you for watching today. Namaste.